Average Joe's Drive-In is proudly sponsored by the Maine Cannababes. The Cannababes are a charity group of pro-cannabis women from the state of Maine who are bringing worthy attention to various causes in the medical cannabis community. This year, they launched their very first Maine Cannababes pinup calendar, which they are taking pre-orders for as we speak. All the proceeds from the calendar are going to worthy charitable causes. If you are interested in purchasing one or finding out more about the Cannababes, you can go to their website, www.mainecannababes.com, or find them on most major forms of social media like Facebook and Instagram. If you order a calendar and enter the code word Average Joe's Drive-In, you could win a chance to get an autographed picture of your favorite Maine Cannababe. Once again, put in the code word Average Joe's Drive-In for a chance to win an autographed picture of your favorite Maine Cannababe. Welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In, your weekly podcast on movies, music, games, and other things entertainment related. Now, your host, TJ Washburn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and back with me is my first repeat guest, Zach Thompson. They call me Legion. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Been busy. I see you guys have been playing a lot of shows, and just played one Friday night, didn't you?
Yeah, we played with Mannequin Republic and Superstition and Holy Filth, which was awesome. Very cool show. It was a benefit show for UCP of Maine, and it raised like $380, something like that.
Awesome.
It was awesome, yeah.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
I'm going to adjust the microphone for you.
Go for it.
I project much more. Your voice is a lot lower than me.
Yeah.
So.
I'm a timid dude.
So I'll try to keep things sort of level. And yeah, man, so that's awesome. So what's been up in the world of They Call Me Legion since the last time you visited?
Not a whole lot of new stuff other than we're just playing shows. We have a show coming up Wednesday night, and that's going to be a big one. That's with the Very Reverend from Portland and Weekend Friends from Portland. And if you don't know either of them, check them out. Weekend Friends, I just saw, they got on like some show with the Front Bottoms, which are like a big band right now, and they just did a track with like Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, there's
taking off.
yeah, so I mean it's cool. But yeah, we get to play with both of them.
Where's that?
That's at the Bangor Art Exchange, which is on Exchange Street, and I don't know the exact address, and I should, but
If you can find Columbia Street or Exchange Street in Bangor, that's right there somewhere.
Yeah, it's right there.
I'm not sure exactly, but I used to live on Columbia Street, so
okay.
I used to live on 92 Columbia, right across from the church.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. There's a great venue there. It's the people that own Central Gallery, Meg and Josh, and you know, I worked with them and stuff. I still do work for them. They moved everything over there, so it's the same like team of people and everything.
It's a little bigger space.
It's a very big space. It's like a ballroom. They have a bar now. You can drink there. It's awesome. It's really cool.
That's cool. So yeah, if you're in the Bangor area on Wednesday, be sure to go and check that out. $10, I'm guessing.
Yes, I believe it's $7 if you pre-order tickets, and you can do that on the, I think, Launchpad and Central Gallery Facebook page if it's still up and running.
Yeah, and I think it might be. I think I saw something on there the other day for it. So cool.
Yeah.
So you guys been working on any new? You haven't been working on any new tracks?
Yeah, we've been working on a new album for a while. We've been writing it for a while, but we heavily believe in not rushing things, and you know, we want to make every step that we make, we want it to be in the right direction, the right thing, and you know, I don't really believe in rushing a product for product's sake, I guess, and
I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So we're trying to come out. We want this next album to really knock people on their ass, and So that's what we're working on, and we've been working on it for a while. So I hope it actually pulls through and
Oh, it
becomes
will,
awesome.
man. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. It'll be good times.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really impatient when it comes to like writing because I just would assume
like I always was in the mindset of I would rather put out like an EP every 6 months or a year
than
do like a full length album every 3.
I'd rather have fresh content.
Every 6 months or a year, or, that sort of thing.
I used to have a lot of anxiety about thinking about writing an album that was more than 9 songs. I was like, because that for some reason that extra digit really threw me off, and I was just like, oh no,
it's got to be 8. I can't do 9.
I was like, I can't write 10 good songs, maybe 9.
And that is so weird because the whole 8 track thing was
for 8 tracks and cassettes. Basically, that's what everybody did was 8 songs.
Yeah.
Because
you only had that much space on the things to put on there.
So yeah, that's still weird. That's still like a subconscious thing when you're thinking about.
It still is to me. I think maybe a perfect album length would just be like 8 songs. I don't know.
I personally would rather have like
5 or 6 really good songs that I like instead of
5 or 6 songs and then 3 filler songs that
Exactly.
aren't really like, well, we're going to throw these on there because we need something to throw on there type songs,
And maybe that's why it takes us so long to write a full album, because we don't really put out EPs that often.
Right.
So we try to, make a whole album good instead of a bunch of good EPs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
which I get both. I get both sides of the coin there, but I've always been in that mindset of I would rather see a band do a 5-6 song EP every 6 months and just constantly, especially nowadays. It's just everybody wants new, up now, go, type stuff. So that's why I was worried about like I when I did my new book. Which is out now, by the way, and I'm gonna plug that real quick. I'm a shameless self-promotion. I don't plug my own shit very often, so I just finished up my new book, Confessions of a Boring White Guy, which is absolutely completely different from anything that I have ever written before. It's not a horror novel. It's actually nonfiction. It's like a journal format style thing where it's all thought pieces, observations, poems, lyrics. It's hopefully make you think and laugh a little bit. Some of it's just really stupid random shit. There's a 2-part series about ninja squirrels that I had one day, and then there's some like stuff that's kind of thought provoking, and I think it's thought provoking. Maybe it's only thought provoking to me because I'm the one that was thinking of it, but I think of some weird shit. I have ADD, and that's what happens, my brain switches gears very quickly sometimes. So it's so far the few people that have been reading it that I kind of give advance copies to check out seem to be loving it and really enjoying it.
I need to read it. I've read your horror stuff. I've never read anything else. So.
It's different. Yeah, it's a whole different side of me, especially for people that know me or have. I think a lot of it will surprise people because I'm pretty reserved in laying out my thoughts and feelings to people. I'm not the type of person that discusses my feelings with anybody ever. Yeah. So I think this might be kind of open some people's eyes a little bit that know me or have known me through music or whatever, because now that I really don't do the music thing that often, it was kind of a cool way to get all the stuff out that I used to get out through my lyrics and my songs and stuff. And I always thought I had a lot to say with my lyrics, whether I was real direct about that or not. Yeah. No, so absolutely. So anyway, both the paperback and the Kindle version are up on Amazon.com/author/Thomas Washburn Jr. I will put a link in the about section here on the podcast because I know that's really long. Or you can go to www.thomaswashburnjr.com and just look under my books. I don't have it up there yet, but if you click on one of my books, it will take you to the Amazon page, and then you can find it from there.
Do you have a Facebook page?
I do.
For your writings?
Yeah, it's just facebook.com/author Thomas Washburn Jr. Author Thomas Washburn Jr.
All right, cool.
One of those. It's slightly different than.
I thought I followed one, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't update that one a whole lot. That's more of a... I'm trying to kind of, now that I'm doing the podcast stuff a lot and thinking about doing some music stuff again and doing the writing and all that, I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with my social media stuff because it's just getting really hard managing like 4 or 5 different pages.
No, yeah.
You know, so I'm kind of turning my Thomas Washburn Jr. page into not just a my .com, into not just focusing on my books.
Yeah.
It's kind of going to be on like whatever I'm doing for projects. There'll be links up there for that, you know. So I have I think I may possibly record 2 or 3 songs, like acoustic, like horror punk type songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I've been messing around a little bit. I've actually played the guitar more in like the last 2 weeks than I have in a long time. So
that's cool.
Relearning a few old songs that I never recorded that I wrote. And so
fair.
I might do some acoustic versions of those. And I have my acoustic, so maybe if I can talk Zach into it before we close the show out, we'll do like an impromptu version of Skulls or something.
Hey, who knows? Whatever.
So we
actually played 4 or 5 Misfits covers on Friday night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Nice.
like right back.
I wish I was gonna say I wish I would have known, but I was doing the Friday the 13th-a-thon podcast.
I was gonna say I knew you were doing something. Yeah.
I would have come down and sung those with you.
Sorry, man.
Not like I would have needed
I
much time.
I invited you.
Yeah. I unfortunately, and this isn't a knock on anybody, but I don't even look at my event invites 90% of the time.
I completely understand.
I look at stuff like when it's posted by the bands that I follow, and then if I'm able to go, I can go, but it's just hard. I'm old, and I don't like staying out late, so... I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning most days, you know. Staying out past 9 o'clock for me sucks. And unfortunately, I live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have like a lot of people to travel with me to go to shows. So
I understand,
makes it hard. Getting old, and I don't like to travel. And kids, get off my damn lawn. You know, I'm getting curmudgeon-y in my old age. You know, back in my day, young whippersnapper shows were done by 10:30. We were home in bed by 11.
Everyone went to school the next day.
I'd have a cup of hot cider and give the wife a little something and go to bed, damn it. Then I'd take a shower. I wouldn't even take a shower beforehand.
Fuck yeah.
I'm starting to feel like that. I'm like, man, I ain't even 40 yet, but that's, yeah. So.
No, I hear you. Why not right now?
So also, real quick, I am going to be at the Pine State Comic-Con next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, which I think I've mentioned on the show, but it's Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to go to something really cool, they sold a lot of vendor slots. I believe there's somewhere like 75 or 80 vendors and artists and different people going to be there.
Where's it at?
You had to ask me this. You can find Bull Moose Music in Bangor.
Yep.
It's the hotel right beside Bull Moose.
Oh, okay.
It's the Bangor Conference and Something Center, I think it's called. They changed the name of it. That's why I can't remember what exactly it is now. But yeah, so I'll be there, and there's lots of cool artists and writers and comic book people and just vendors, and the Michonne's pets from The Walking Dead are going to be there, and they are actually doing... And I think they've got like 10 tickets left because it's a limited thing. The 100th episode, season 8 kickoff of Walking Dead is this Sunday. So if you go to the Pine State Comic-Con's page, I believe they have like 10 tickets, 15 tickets, something like that left. You can pay $10, go to Seasons, hang out with Michonne's pets, and watch the 100th episode of The Walking Dead kickoff, which is pretty cool.
That's right,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. So go have fun. I will be there selling books. I will not have Confessions of a Boring White Guy because it takes me forever to get stuff from my publisher. So I do not have that one because I just literally put it up last week. And it takes me like 3 weeks to get orders. So sorry if anybody wants that one, but I could take pre-orders and the next time or whatever. Just buy it on Amazon and help drive my sales up so other people will see it and buy it because I'm too poor for advertising. So
help the little man out.
Help the little guy, the little big man out. Help the little big fella out, you know.
Absolutely.
Big fella's got to eat, okay? I don't eat as much as I used to, but, you know. So, but I still need to eat. So, yeah. And if you can tell, Zach and I have absolutely no format for this, whatever. We're just hanging out and shooting the shit, which I thought would be kind of fun, something different to do.
It's been pretty loose since I showed up and locked my keys in the car.
Yeah, so that's how we started the podcast off. We get ready to go, and Zach unfortunately locked his key and his spare key in his car.
It's a long story, but yeah. And but crisis averted, everything's fine now, and everything's ready.
I used my magical lead vocalist powers.
In the form of a 1999 Chevy Malibu key.
For some reason that I still have, even though I haven't had that car for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I happen to still have the key, and it somehow got his door open. Hey. So yeah.
I'm not going to ask questions. I'll just take it and just say thanks, universe.
We didn't have to get the PD involved. We didn't have to call AAA. So,
which is good. It's always good when you don't have to get the PD involved.
So... yeah, so I've been knocking down a lot. We were kind of discussing horror movies, and I've been knocking a bunch down. I'm up to 21. I'm a little behind, actually. I wanted to be almost at 30 by now, but
you've watched way more than I have.
This is my month. I save a lot for this month every year, so I can just go to town and
see. I feel like I watch like my really dark. I go to my really dark horror movie place in the really inappropriate times, like Christmas or something. When the moods are high and everything, that's when I'm really craving something that's gonna
man, I really want to watch Gates of Hell on Christmas Eve, because this will be fun.
No, really. Or Black Christmas is a perfect Christmas movie for me, because
I think it was Vestron or Arrow. One of them is releasing the restored 35th anniversary of Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I've never seen. Yeah,
I've never seen that either.
But fellow podcaster and horror nerd, Eugene Weaver of the Movie Freaks, that's one of his favorite horror movies ever.
Really?
So he's like, "Oh, dude, you gotta watch it if you've never seen it."
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of those cheesy slasher early 80s type.
See, I know what it is because when I was a kid and I used to go into the video rental place, they had a horror section, and I would try to not look at it because I would see every time I looked. And there was something scary that I'd remember, and it would fuck with me later. And then one day I looked and I saw. Have you ever seen the cover of that movie?
It's like
the hand over the chimney with
the axe.
Yeah, terrified me. I was just like, this dude's crawling down chimneys and killing kids.
Well, there's a knockoff of that movie too. There's Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then there's I want to say there's another very similar titled movie that's kind of like a rip-off type deal.
Yeah.
Which happened a lot back then in the early 80s. People would just kind of take ideas and change them slightly. I think they still do that now, but
yeah.
But back then, especially during the horror boom of the early 80s, that happened a lot.
Yeah.
We'd be looking for a title of a movie, and it's I swear it was this. Well, this looks similar.
Yeah.
No, that definitely wasn't the one that I was looking for. And
it was snakes on a plane, not snakes on a train.
Ah, exactly. I wanted Night of the Living Dead, not Night of the Lepus.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a bad mistake to make. I've never seen Night of the Lepus. I wanted to.
I've heard it's just awful. And
yeah,
I'm sure
I would love that.
I'm sure I would love that in my mystery science theater loving sort of ways.
They should have done it. I wish they did.
I watched a movie called Gargoyles a couple weeks ago, and I reviewed it on the show, but that's what that reminded me of. I'm like, oh, this would have been perfect for Mystery Science Theater, because it's... So maybe if they do a new season, maybe that's a suggestion. Yeah. Seeing I'm Netflix. Sure Joel Hodgson is listening to the show.
Absolutely.
Joel, make sure the next season you guys do 1973's Gargoyles. So...
And let's do lunch.
Let's do lunch, talk.
Yeah.
So
talk it over.
We'll talk it over. Call me. You got my number. No. Yeah. So yeah, you were talking about though. You just watched Return of the Living Dead for the first time.
For the first time.
I wish I could be in your shoes right now because that's one of my favorite horror movies ever.
It was pretty powerful. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very pessimistic person, and I just go into things thinking like the worst, or skeptic, I guess is a good way to say it. But I don't do that to be a downer. I do it to keep my self-worth intact, I guess, as I want to have standards for myself.
Right.
But that was one of those movies. There's very few movies that I just go in, I don't have a bad thing to say about it. But that movie was awesome. And
it's so much fun.
I don't know why no one told me to watch this movie before.
I'm surprised I have never told you to watch that movie.
Seriously, I've never
I just probably assumed that you have watched it. So.
I didn't know. I think I saw it before, but I thought it was a recover, a new cover of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, no.
And was like, well, this is just
one of the dudes, Dan O'Bannon, was one of the guys involved with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I found that out later.
Later on, yeah.
I didn't, I just thought it was either a shitty ripoff.
And Dan O'Bannon also wrote Alien.
Yeah, he was the original screenwriter, I think, of Alien.
Yeah,
right?
so, you're thinking for two of my favorite movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who knew that? And if you watch those two movies side by side, you would never know that.
No. Not even close. No. One's a edgy sci-fi, really serious, dark tone in Return of the Living Dead, which is one of, in my opinion, one of the funnest. It's just fun. It's a fun movie.
Every scene is awesome in that movie. It's so
and
cool.
I will fully admit this. Linnea Quigley dancing on the gravestone in that movie is the whole reason I have always been in love and obsessed with goth girls.
Here's the thing. When that happened, when that scene came on, I was watching this movie with a roommate and a friend of mine from work. And that scene came on. And that girl just starts getting naked and dancing on top of the grave, and I'm like, well, of course, horror, schlocky, 80s, whatever.
Zach's like, something suddenly come up. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
The thing is, no one expects her to be naked for the entire movie.
She never.
But she is. No, and she comes back. You see her later. She eats someone. It's gory. It's awesome. But she's pale as hell and naked and. She's naked literally 95% of the movie. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And
it's totally normal. You don't see. It's not shocking at all. You're just oh, it's just
And she's gorgeous too. So it's the if you watched some of the behind the scenes stuff on that movie though. They talk about that whole thing because she's like, I'm just walking around naked because nobody told me that I could get a coat or something and throw it on. Or she's waiting in between shots, standing around nude, whatever. But
no gentleman on the set offered.
I'm sure all the gentlemen on the set were going, I'm okay with that.
Hey, it's her choice.
Whatever. So, yeah, but that movie is, and the funny thing is, Joel Shepard, who is also in that movie, the girl with the blue dress.
Yeah.
Joel Shepard gets naked in every movie she's in.
Except that
one. So, yeah. Little 80s horror trivia stuff for you right there.
No, see.
Also, I've never seen it, but I always remember looking at the cover, and I need to watch it sometime. Linnea Quigley was in a movie called Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Wow.
And it has the best tagline, they charge an arm and a leg.
Wow.
So, I still need to watch that one. It's one of those ones I constantly be I need to check that out because that sounds just cheesy awesomeness.
Yeah.
But then I always forget about it until I start talking with somebody about Return of the Living Dead. And it's oh yeah, I need to go see that. I need to see that movie because, yeah.
You know what I need to see is the sequels, not the new ones, because I've seen most of the new ones and I hate them. I haven't seen any of the original sequels to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, part 2 was amazing.
Was it?
Part 2.
Because Tobe Hooper did part 2, right?
Part 2 was... I'm probably going to have people come hunt me down for this, but I like part 2 better than better than the original.
Really?
Yeah.
I see the original is that movie. It is crazy, but no one talks about part 2, and I want to know.
They just put again. I believe it's like Arrow or Scream Factory or one of them just put like a super deluxe special edition, just loaded with shit out of Texas Chainsaw 2. Yeah, not that long ago. But as Bill Moseley from Devil's Rejects.
Oh, sick.
Is Plate. I can't remember what the hell his name is. I always call him Platehead, but I don't think that's correct. He's Leatherface's brother that's been in Nam, and he comes back and he has a metal plate in his head. And comic relief.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is between... Obviously, one is just a serious, just brutal freaking movie.
That's like my
That's
definition.
cerebral. It's a cerebral horror. That movie gets in your head. That's just like that.
That's one of the most disturbing movies ever made.
And it's not that gory.
No,
it really isn't
not.
that gory.
You don't see much of anything, but that movie messes with you.
The scene with Leatherface grabbing her when she's walking out of the door, and you just see the meat locker door open and him grabbing her and pulling her in. I'm just like, that gave me goosebumps. Like, it was just like, like freaking out and shit. You know?
That's the thing, and that's the difference between, like, those movies and Hostel, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much scarier to me to see that door shut and not see what happens.
Because it's implied.
Exactly.
I've always been like, I love gore. And my friends that know me know my horror taste. I love gore. I don't like mean horror. I don't like torture porn. I'm not into the Human Centipede movies or Hostel.
Have you seen...
I'm absolutely terrified. My horror movie phobia, and I just don't like watching them, is cannibal movies. Anything with like cannibals in them fucking freaks me out. I just don't like them.
Interesting.
I've never watched Cannibal Holocaust. I absolutely refuse to watch that movie.
Really?
Why? I don't know what it is. I watched some really disturbing, gross shit,
You've
but like
never
that
seen
stuff.
A cannibal movie?
I have, and that's why I don't even remember what the hell.
Watch?
I don't even remember what the hell it was.
And
but
it just bothered
me like that bad.
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's just because not that some of the other shit that happens in horror movies isn't like real, but I like kind of a fantastical element to my horror movies. Like I love creature movies, like werewolves, vampires, anything like that. I like gory Italian giallos. I like, fun zombie type movies. And I mean, I don't mind gore when it's like, but just movies that are just mean spirited, I've never liked. I didn't like the Saw movies. The first one was good. After that, I really didn't care for them because they just got mean for the sake of being mean. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those weird things I have when it comes to horror movies.
No, I got you.
I've been holding off on Green Room, which I really want to watch because I've heard it's amazing.
Why are you holding off on it?
Because I've heard it's just brutally and mean-spirited.
Really?
Yes. Have you seen Green Room?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's got Sir Patrick Stewart playing the leader of a skinhead gang.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And I've heard it's really fucking disturbing. So.
See, I haven't. I mean, I saw it. I guess I have heard a little about it, but like
I have it on Vudu. One of my friends gave me their code for it, and I just haven't watched it. I've just because I'm like, I know it's probably going to be good, and I'm liking it, but it's just like I've just heard too many like it's kind of mean spirited. So, but getting back to Texas Chainsaw 2 falls in line to me with like Return of the Living Dead, but just way more gory. Really? Like Texas Chainsaw 2 is really fucking gory. There's some like just really messed up gore in that movie. Yeah.
Damn.
But there's some comic relief in there too, which is awesome because it plays very well.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so you definitely should watch. If you like Return of the Living Dead, it's kind of that fun horror, but it's also really gross and gory and at the same time, and has some moments where you're just kind of cringe type moments because it's just like, oh damn, there's a scene with the two DJs. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but there's a scene with the two DJs because they're the premise is Leatherface. They basically kidnap this two DJs from a radio station. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I may be messing that up a little bit, but yeah. So it's fucked up. It's
So what do they do to the two DJs?
You have to watch it to find out, because there's a scene in that you're just gonna be like, you're just gonna cringe. Like, I'm assuming you're gonna cringe. It made me just be like, coming from a guy who watched a girl puke her heart up in Gates of Hell. Yeah, that made me cringe. That one scene is just like, ooh, that looks painful. Ow.
Yeah.
So, and it's got Dennis Hopper in it. It's got Bill Moseley. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun horror. So, I like both. Don't get me wrong, but I would prefer, if I was going to watch one of them, I probably would watch two now quicker than the first one.
It's probably got more entertainment value.
Yeah. I like cerebral horror, like the original Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that. And that's why I think when the Blair Witch Project first came out, that's why that was such a phenomenon, because it's just creepy.
It is.
It gets in your head, you know.
Yeah, and that's more up my alley.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same with me. I've been picking up some stuff on VHS. I know, I said VHS. You heard correctly. And because I get some really good buys on them. And I've been picking up a lot of stuff like I've wanted to see that I've never seen, or like for horror movies anyway, like Cube and The Cell and stuff like that. And just a bunch of like random stuff I've been picking up. And Cape Fear, a lot of thriller type stuff.
Cape Fear is a pretty crazy movie.
I saw that a long time ago. De Niro is amazing in that movie.
That's a pretty messed up movie. I saw that when I was way too young.
There's another movie there I watched a long time ago, and I remember jack squat about. It's called The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a psychological thriller type thing. So I got those, and I picked up Red Dragon and Hannibal and Silence of the Lambs, because I haven't watched any of those in forever. So
see, I feel like I've seen Red Dragon, but not Hannibal. Like, I don't really remember.
Red Dragon's Hannibal. Like the prequel.
Yeah, the prequel to Silence.
And there's actually, I think it's either late 70s or early 80s, called Manhunter.
That's the actually one I want to see.
That's that's really good. I haven't seen that in a long time, but it's it might actually even have been later than that. I can't remember, but it was done way before the Hannibal Lecter movies.
Yeah, it was like the original.
It was like the original one, yeah. And that's basically what Red Dragon was, more or less a remake of that.
Right.
So yeah, if you can track Manhunter down, check it out. I believe that's early mid-70s. I may be wrong.
That sounds awesome.
Has happened on occasion.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I watched Halloween 1, 2, 1, 3.
What's your favorite Halloween film?
What's my favorite Halloween film? Definitely 1.
Really?
Yeah. 2's close second. I liked 3. Don't get me wrong, 3 was fun. I've only seen 3 twice.
Season of the Witch?
Yes.
Is that one?
I watched it.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It has nothing to do with Michael Myers. It's its own separate movie.
I knew that.
Has Tom Atkins in it. Yeah. So
it's got something to do with a mask, right?
Yes. The jingle will be forever stuck in your head as soon as you hear it. I haven't been able to stop humming it for a week now.
How'd it go?
Dun 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 dun. 10 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 10 more days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock. Dun 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 dun. It's like, yeah.
It's that, huh?
Yeah, I'll play it for you when we're all done.
Yeah,
nice. So, yeah, and I'd only seen it one other time, I think, and it was a long time ago. And I really, really like it, but it has some issues. And there's like a lot of people you talk to, that's like either their first or favorite of the Halloween series.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, I get a lot of people like on the horror forum that I've been a part of since like the early 2000s. The Axis of Very Evil. We broke Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, back in the day.
How'd you break Rotten
Our thread was so big that it crashed the system, so so they had to put a thread count limit on their threads. Yeah,
that's it.
We had something like 100,000 replies in that one thread, because that's like the only thing we posted in. So awesome. We've had message boards, and we've kind of all randomly found each other again and again over the years on like different social media and stuff. So when Facebook come around, we kind of resurrected the group again.
So there's a new Facebook page?
Yeah, it's been around for a while. I'll invite you. I'll invite you to it sometime. Yeah, it's fun. We talk about, but a lot of my friends that are in that, that's like they absolutely like they give it a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
Really?
I give it a 5.5 out of 10, but I think I rate movies a little harsher than some people.
Yeah.
I'm a little more forgiving, I think, than some people when it comes to certain types of movies. Because I do enjoy schlocky, cheesy horror movies. Yeah. So I kind of like might let them get away like a really bad movie. I might let it get away with being.
I don't really trust people that don't like really bad movies. Like, I think really bad movies are amazing. Like,
I can enjoy a good movie and still find problems with it and still enjoy it.
Exactly.
Some people get really upset when you start pointing, no, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, no.
You can say that's
dude,
fucked.
The movie's too long. You could cut 20 minutes out of it. That was my big beef with Halloween 3. It felt like it was a little too long. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Great movie, and it was awesome. It had some really cool stuff in it. But if much like, I don't know if I'm assuming you're a fan of John Carpenter's The Fog.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much like The Fog in that, but I love The Fog, but it's always felt a little disjointed to me, like it's missing something.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not everybody feels that way, but that's how I feel. And I kind of had that same feeling with Season of the Witch. Like, it was like, man, this is awesome, but it's like, I really wish they would have cut a little bit, and maybe there was just something, like, it felt like there was something missing to me. So, for my friends that love that movie, I'm not saying it to upset you. That's just how I feel. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, so don't be mad.
See, I've always wanted to see it, but the main reason I wanted to see it is because Michael Myers has no part in it. And I think that's really interesting. And, like, I hear so many people, like, come down on that and are like, it's so dumb that they just randomly, like, decided.
But the whole thing is, when Carpenter first was going to do the Halloween franchise, it wasn't supposed to be all Michael Myers. It was supposed to be like every Halloween they were going to release a different movie with the title Halloween, but it would be centered around something different.
Yeah.
But then Halloween took off, the whole Michael Myers persona, and
the only thing that's weird about it is that they did it on 3 and not 2. It's weird that they did a sequel and then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I almost consider 1 and 2 to be the same, like one movie, because they flow together so seamlessly.
Yeah.
That it's just like, if you have never watched Halloween 1 and 2 back to back, you need to do it, because it's just like, it's almost like just watching a really long 3-hour slasher
It's like
movie.
They never stopped filming 1. And like, just.
The same, Dean Cundy is the cameraman, who is John Carpenter's guy, who does most of his movies. Dean Cundy does the camera work, so it's pretty much the same style, the same flow, different director. Carpenter doesn't even direct it. But the only difference I really found with 2 is the gore. 1 isn't gory at all, really. I mean, you don't really see much blood in that movie in part 1. 2, you see a little more. The kills are a little more. Yeah. But really, that's the only difference to me. But there's some things about that movie that annoy the shit out of me that just aren't, like, they're just weird little things that. Laurie laying on the ground, unable to scream the whole time, and then, they go away and then she screams. And there's just, which I understood they did it because it needed to move the plot along, but sometimes you have to do dumb shit to make things work.
Yeah.
But, like, this, that bothered me. It's just, yeah. So.
I got you.
So yeah, I've watched those, and I picked up a movie I was showing you called Trick or Treat, not to be confused with Trick or Treat from the 80s, which you also need to watch that if you've never seen that.
No?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
it's about a band, sort of, kind of. Skippy from Growing Pains. I don't know if you remember that show. You probably weren't born when that was on.
See, I just watched other shows from that period. I just never got around to that one. I don't know.
Well, this rocker guy dies mysteriously, and he's all Satan-y. And Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons have cameos in it.
Sick.
The soundtrack is pure 80s gold, though.
Nice.
It's, yeah. I will also play a couple of those songs before you leave.
Awesome.
And, but yeah, not to be Trick or Treat, not to be confused with Trick or Treat, which I have never seen, but I was listening to a great podcast that I love called The Faculty of Horror. And I have heard about this film forever, and a lot of people I know like it, but I listened to them, and if you have ever listened to The Faculty of Horror, they break down movies like nobody breaks down movies. They are amazing. So, Alex West and Andrea Subasati are amazing. So, yeah. So, they were breaking this movie down, and it just really, like, them breaking it down, and like, I kind of know how the movie goes, because they broke it down, but now that really made me want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, that really made me want to see it. So I was like, because they broke that in Creepshow down, and they were kind of comparing them as like the quintessential anthologies for Halloween. So I'm
and you haven't watched it yet.
And I've never seen it.
No.
Bull Moose, plug in Bull Moose again. So once again, Bull Moose, if you would like to sponsor Average Joe's Drive-In, I have a spot especially for you. But Bull Moose it's Halloween, it's October, so they have awesome deals on horror movies.
Yes, they do. Can I plug Bull Moose real quick?
You can plug Bull Moose real quick, yeah.
I was in Bull Moose the other day, and that's the only place I go to buy horror movies, honestly.
Pretty much,
it's also the only place I go to buy, like, physical music. And I went in, and I got a copy of Ziggy Stardust on vinyl in, I'd say, 90% good condition for 97 cents.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
They're amazing. Their used selection is so good, and if they don't have it, they can usually get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so if you're listening to this show and you don't live in Maine or New Hampshire, there is a bullmoose.com, and they will ship things to you, so you can go check it out. Most of their prices I have found are lower than anywhere you will find on. So even Amazon, most of the time I can find stuff cheaper at Bull Moose than like Amazon. And even if it's a little more expensive, I would rather support the local business. So,
absolutely.
So anyway, but they went in. I went in there and I picked up the Evil Dead remake a little while ago because I've only seen that one time, and I kind of enjoyed it, but it was different. But and Trick or Treat was there.
Yep.
That was like $5, dude. Yep. I'm like, come on it, because everywhere else that I've looked, even the DVD is still like $10.
Yeah, which is a little crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm poor and cheap, so I don't want to spend $10 or $15 on a movie that I've never seen. And at least now with like Netflix and Amazon Prime, a lot of times if I haven't seen something and it's on there, at least I can watch it.
Yeah. To
know if it's worth me buying, if I'll watch it over. Because I'm usually a pretty good judge of I will watch this a lot, or I'm not going to probably watch this ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So... But I was like, for $5, I was like, I was going to run it on Prime, and it was like, for $1 more, I can buy it. Exactly. Like, yeah. So I was like...
I think you'll like it. I think you know what you're doing when it comes to horror movies, so... I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's pretty cool, pretty clever. Not too many complaints on my end about it.
And it just sounded like it was kind of a cool premise, like just how they did it, like, you know, the individual stories, but they all tie together, and it's kind of, you know, it's not just a individual segment deal, kind of like...
Yeah, and the thing is what I was telling you earlier is it's pretty dark and pretty out there, but at the same time, it's got like an not an uplifting quality, but kind of a more lighter side to it.
Yeah.
Even though it isn't really shown on screen, you get this kind of like light-hearted side of it all, which helps you, you know. It makes it fun to watch and not just like you're being tortured sitting there. So,
right.
Yeah.
I've watched a few of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have. So this week I'm getting ready to go on vacation next week, so I'm trying to get a bunch of movies in this week because I don't know how much I'm going to get to watch next week.
Where are you going?
Out with my dad. We're doing some things,
yes.
And I haven't actually get to go on like a vacation for a while, so I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome.
But I'm going to try to watch... I've been debating, like, I want to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 3, and 4. because it's been so long since I've seen those, and I don't even think I've ever seen 4. I bought them a while ago because I saw 1, and I got again at Bull Moose for $3. I picked up the 4 movie and the 4 movie set, for $3, $4, whatever it was. It wasn't very much. So I was like, sweet, I can go back and revisit those. So I'm debating whether to watch those and all 3 in Return of the Living Dead 1, 2, 1, 3, or of just a bunch of random movies, because I have been trying to kind of focus on franchises and directors or certain writers and stuff for my horror-thon this year. I try to kind of pick a theme every year.
Yeah.
One year I might do maybe monster movies or vampires or something.
That's cool.
So I try to watch the chunk of the movies I watch. I try to be in that realm, and then I'll watch some just individual stuff. But
yeah. You gotta let me know if you do a vampire one, because that's my wheelhouse right now.
And speaking of vampires, here's a good segue. Oh. I had Zach give me a They Call Me Legion song, and there was this guy. He played Dracula back in the day. He was kind of famous, kind of a famous horror actor from black and white era. Played Dracula. The original, well, not Nosferatu, but he played not Dracula.
The original, but he was Dracula.
So we are gonna play Bela Lugosi by They Call Me Legion. All right, welcome back. You know, my knees are weak. My knees are weak. My palms are sweaty. There's vomit on my sweater. Mom's spaghetti. What that has to do with anything, I have no idea. But you just heard Bela Lugosi by They Called Me Legion. So, yeah. So, you guys, you finally got to hear what they sound like if you've listened to the show and Zach was on before and you were lazy and didn't go check out the page. So, now that you've heard it, go check out the page, buy their albums, go to some of their shows, and check their shit out.
Please.
So, yeah, so that was our little break there from horror movie discussion, and Zach got to pee, and I got to go get a drink. So, yeah. So what have you watched recently other than Return of the Living Dead?
Well, I watched It. I went to see
the original
It.
or the theater version?
The new version.
Oh,
the
and
new
it's
one.
so good.
So good. It is. It's really good. And it's one of those movies that rarely, I think, lives up to the crazy, like...
The hype.
Yeah, the hype. And not
yeah.
only the hype, but the marketing. I couldn't go anywhere online without seeing that movie. And I was just like, this movie better be awesome because I can't get away from it. And it was. It was
and
really
being
good.
where we're from, it was even worse because we live in Stephen King land.
Yeah.
And there was just like people putting red balloons all over everywhere and just going like crazy stuff. And I'm very happy to say, like, for my regular listeners, you guys know how much I like that. Seriously, I have to rewatch it a few times, but I think it's as good, if not better, than The Shining.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot. And I don't, I don't say that like lightheartedly because that movie is like an all-time classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably the best, hands down, best King movie.
Yeah.
And this time will tell. It's hard to tell because it's a new movie, and the first time watching, you're just so excited, and it was so good. But I have not laughed that hard.
Oh, seriously.
Not only is it just creepy as shit, it's funny. It's It's got really to me, the best thing about that was the kids actually felt like they were friends hanging out because that's how my friends and I used to give each other shit when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like
I was so nervous because like if you're thinking about think about kids that age, would you you actually know like locals whatever kids whatever would you trust them to make like a 2.5 hour movie or however long that movie was and expect them to pull it off and do a good job?
No, because they would be on their cell phones
exactly.
every 10 minutes. This is why it takes place in the 80s,
right,
back when we didn't have
there's a
stuff.
reason like famous actors are famous for a reason and like all this stuff because they actually do stuff. And kid actors, I'm not trying to shit on them, but a lot of movies where kids are the lead roles, it's like, okay.
I feel the same way.
You know, they just don't have that. But for some reason...
Kids take me out of movies a lot of times because 100%. They either are they're overacting, or they don't seem... It doesn't seem natural.
And then there's that whole, like, I know it plays its role in some critical movies, even like The Shining, but, like, the whole creepy child cliche. You know what I mean? In horror, which has been done, it's just done all the time and whatever, and that's cool. But, like, it's crazy how good these child actors were. I don't know if that's the correct term for their...
The child protege.
Good God, can I talk? The child protege. It was a crazy good movie, and I only, for as much as I pick movies apart, I only had, like, one major complaint.
Was that Pennywise's weird movements?
No. Well, alright. Can I say two complaints? The first, which spoiler warnings in tag just in case, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I'm not going to try to give away the movie, but I'm going to just don't want something to slip.
Yeah. So he's warning you if you haven't watched it.
Potential spoiler.
I'm
going to try to not to. There's so many jump scares. Like, It goes like you watch the movie. There's like the crazy openings. There's the everything, but then there's probably like 35 minutes of just sheer like absolute crazy jump scare insanity.
You're talking about the last third of the movie, pretty much.
It's exhausting. Yeah. It's like crazy.
As a horror fan, that was my one big issue. I guess really was as a horror fan. About 2/3 of the jump scares I called before they happened. Yeah. I knew they were coming. They were telegraphed. If you are a horror fan. But with that being said,
the general public,
which was most of the people that was in the theater with me, I had these 3 college girls sitting in front of me, and I swear to God, when spoiler alert, with that one scene where Bev is in the bathroom and she turns around
and he's right there. I was just gonna say, yeah.
The girl in front of me had a soda in one hand and popcorn in the other, and I literally thought that soda was going flying across the room. That, to me, is so much fun when everybody else in the theater is getting scared shitless and you're just laughing. You're the weird dude, the bat. Just
you're smiling.
You're smiling and just like, this is awesome. I love seeing people freak out and get scared.
Yeah, exactly.
But there wasn't more than a few. There was 4 or 5 scenes that did jump the shit out of me.
Yeah.
You know,
that projector scene.
And that does not happen very often.
Me either. That projector scene. I knew it was coming, I guess, but I wasn't expecting it to come the way it did, and it just, like, I don't know. That one got me, and I was like, I shouldn't have fallen for that, but I did.
But God damn it. You got sucked in, man. That was the thing. It was so well put together that...
It was really
And there was a few moments where I was expecting something, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're going to pull the old, they're going to do that. No, they didn't. Oh. And then 2 seconds later, something really, 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, whatever it is later, something really just off the walls happens. It's like, and this is something, and it pisses me off to no avail. It has nothing to do with the movie. But don't be a douchebag and hate the movie just because it's the cool thing to do. Don't be a pretentious fuckwad. It's an awesome movie.
It is. Here's the thing. I come across as a pretentious fuckwad a lot when I talk about horror movies because I'm picky and I think I have high standards. But, like, I think this movie is sick.
I know I don't have high standards, so when I give a horror movie, like, that much praise, I don't do it lightly. Because I'm one of these people that very, very rarely do I find a movie where I'm like, holy shit, that was like a masterpiece.
Exactly, me too.
So when I do find a movie that I'm like, holy shit, that was a masterpiece, I gush about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing it just to get on the train of, hey, that's a cool movie, everybody likes it. I'm doing it because I thought it was really goddamn good. I could give 2 shits less if anybody values my opinion, or if they think it was sucked, that's awesome. Everybody has different opinions on shit. But I have no qualms with saying I don't like something if it's not something that I don't enjoy, even if everybody else likes it. Mm-hmm. You know?
I
get shit a lot of times for that because I'm just like, I didn't think it was that good, but hey, if everybody else liked it, awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to ruin anyone else's time. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know. I personally thought the first one wasn't that good other than Tim Curry.
The first one isn't good, but it's enjoyable. And it's just, but it was made for TV, so they cut so much of it out of the stuff in the book. Granted, it has been a long time since I read the book, and I started to read it. And my reading time is just very limited right now. I've been trying to finish up the book and do the podcast stuff and 800 other things, so I haven't had a lot of time. And hockey season started, so unfortunately when hockey season starts for me, not good timing for anything. But even though the Bruins suck so far this year, but that's a whole different podcast. But now see, like, a lot of people shit on the Dark Tower, which I've only read The Gunslinger.
I've never read any of them.
I like The Dark Tower, but I seem to like looking at reviews. The people that read the books hated it, and the people who didn't know anything about it seemed to at least enjoy it. Like it was a forgettable kind of cheesy sci-fi movie. Wasn't horrible, but it wasn't awesome. But I can totally understand where people are coming from that didn't like it because of the books. Mm-hmm. Because there has been many a Stephen King adaptation that I love the book and the adaptation blew. So
give me an example.
I've watched so many. Hold on.
What's your least favorite Stephen King adaptation?
My least favorite Stephen King adaptation on film? Ooh. I don't know. You're putting me on the spot, Zach. Like, I don't know. I can't really name it right off the top of my head. Usually I have to prepare for shit like that. All right. No stop it, Zach. You heard me. Thinner would be a prime example, even though that was kind of a Bachman book before. Thinner's a good example. I really liked the book.
I never read the book. I just saw the movie, and I thought the movie was ridiculous, but, whatever.
It's watchable.
Yeah.
It's watchable. Yeah, it's watchable. But the book I actually really enjoyed. Desperation was another one that I liked the book, but
I don't even know what that is, I guess.
Yeah, it was part of the Bachman series. He wrote one as Bachman and one as King.
Yeah.
There's The Regulators and the Desperation.
Okay. What about the Langoliers?
I have not watched that in many years, but
wow, you should.
I just picked up at Bull Moose for $9.99, or I think it was $9.99 or $12.99. The Stand, The Golden Years, and The Langoliers in one DVD set for like $13.
I have that.
That is such a good deal.
I have that set, and let me tell you,
because
Langoliers is a bad.
I remember it being really bad. I remember that being really bad.
So bad. They filmed like some of it in the Bangor airport.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts my heart. It's a bad movie.
The only thing I remember about that movie is Balky from A Perfect Strangers tearing the paper. And then basically having an orgasm every time he's tearing the paper. That's all I remember from that. And I think I watched part of the Golden Years, like when I was a kid, and I mean a kid, probably late 80s, early 90s, I think, when that came out to like my camp when I was growing up, and when it was during the big period of Stephen King miniseries, when everything was a miniseries.
Yeah.
Like Sometimes They Come Back, I think which I've never seen, or I watched it but I don't remember. So yeah, I'm interested to watch the Golden Years, but I know a lot of people don't like it, think it's kind of cheesy and it sucks, but I absolutely adore The Stand because that's like one of my all-time favorite Stephen King novels.
Yeah.
And I thought the miniseries was pretty good. I've actually probably watched that more than almost any other Stephen King movie,
really?
Hands down. Yeah, I've seen that I think maybe 12, 13 times. Oh. And it's 6.5, 7 hours long, and I've seen it all the way through that many times. Yeah.
I remember at my old apartment, when I was like drinking with my old roommates, for some reason it became a thing. They'd be like, put on the opening scene of The Stand. And when they play Don't Fear the Reaper, you know what I'm talking about? And it's just like
with the crow?
Yeah. For some reason, that was like our favorite thing to watch when we were like partying. Everyone was just like, "Oh, play the opening scene from The Stand."
See, now I've always thought that you guys should cover Eve of Destruction.
Yeah.
Do like a little heavier version of it. I think that
I could see that.
I could completely and absolutely see you guys playing that.
Yeah.
I think it would fit you guys pretty well. So
let's see what we can do. That'd be cool.
But so I've got a few movies, like I said. I'm trying to figure shit out what to watch this week and try to get some stuff in because I'm just going to be so busy coming up here that I'm going to take one night and probably just like watch 3 or 4 movies right in a row. And
What's next? Trick or Treat?
I'm watching that tonight when we're done.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's gonna be my viewing for tonight.
Sick.
I have a hard time watching more than one movie at a time in a
too.
day. Once in a while, I occasionally have a day where I'm just like, I just want to watch some movies and just, you know. But generally, my movie viewing, yeah, Austin Powers reference. But generally, my movie viewing is like, you know, I'll do a movie and then in a general week, I might watch 2 or 3 movies. I don't generally watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
I am currently watching Z Nation. So
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's it's so bad and so cheesy and so awesome.
What is it?
Are you familiar with the film company The Asylum? They, Sharknado movies.
Oh, well then yeah.
Yes, okay. This is kind of like The Walking Dead, but not.
Okay.
It's so fucking out there and weird and just awesome.
Yeah.
You I think would appreciate the shit out of it.
I love
right
that
now right now at Walmart you can pick the first 3 seasons up for $10 a season in the bin. Yeah.
All right.
And there's like I think there's like 15 or 20 episodes for each season.
All right.
Or if you have Netflix, the first 3 seasons are on Netflix.
Oh, I'll watch it on Netflix.
You'll start watching it and just be like, I don't know what the big deal about this is, and then like 12 episodes later, you're just like, I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna watch season 2 now. Yeah, season 3's there. I guess I'll watch that too. It's so much fun because it's campy as shit.
Yeah,
and it's just. Awesome. The effects are kind of cheesy and a little CG, and normally I hate CGI in horror of any type, but it works so well in this. Kind of like it does in the Sharknado movies.
Right.
They found that kind of good blend between cheese and like entertaining, and it's...
Clearly that's not a shark flying through the air.
I don't know.
But I don't know, it might be.
How did you shoot that scene? Well, we took 53 rubber sharks and made a mini water spout, and it contained one of those, I remember what the hell they call them there, those little boxes with the wind that they pump through when the people try to grab the money.
Those things.
Yeah, the little storm boxes, like a tornado box, and you just throw some plastic sharks in there.
That'd be awesome.
There's your practical effects sharks. Thank you. Trademark. Thomas Washburn Jr., so if anybody does that, I want residuals.
Suck on that, Tom Savini.
Tom Savini, you bastard. No. Tom Savini, you need to come back and do some effects again, sir. We miss your amazing practical effects. So, yeah, and I still haven't watched Gerald's Game yet, which I've been dying to watch. I still haven't seen Death Note yet.
The Netflix one?
Yeah, I've been waiting to see those.
It.
There's a new one on there called The Babysitter that I really want to watch.
I saw it. That was on there. I haven't seen it yet. I saw Death Note.
I am so far behind on like 2016, 2017 horror movies. It's ridiculous. I'm just one of these people, like, I just never watch shit when it comes out. It takes me like 4 years to watch stuff. And by the time I watch it, everybody else has already seen it, and I get all excited. They're like, dude, that was big like 4 years ago.
I have questions for you.
I may have answers.
Have you seen Get Out?
No.
Okay. Have you seen A Cure for Wellness?
No.
Do you know about those movies?
Yes.
Okay.
I also have The Void on my list, which I have not seen yet.
The Void?
The Void, yeah. It's the mental hospital and the Cthulhu.
Oh, is that the Carpenter one? No, that's The Ward, right? Didn't he do a mental hospital movie not long ago?
Probably. I
don't know.
I have lost track of John Carpenter, sadly.
Yeah,
as much as I love John Carpenter, I have not seen anything since Ghost of Mars. Was the last thing of his I watched. And that movie was bad.
We don't need to remember
need to remember that one. Vampires kicks ass, though. But, so...
James
Vampires
Woods,
rocks,
man.
yes. James Wood is just James Wood, and... We have a Baldwin in it, and James Wood, so how could you go wrong with that combination? So, It's James Woods being James Woods, and
he's a vampire hunter. And
he's a
vampire. They wear a lot of leather, and
that movie is so ungodly quotable and just fun. And
that's a wild one. You know what's funny? Speaking of vampires and this, I didn't mean to segue this with the whole Bela Lugosi thing.
No, that's okay.
I realized the other day I have 4 VHS copies of Dracula, the original version, at my house.
Nice.
Why though? I don't need 4 copies.
Because you have a backup for your backup for your backup.
Right, I'm terrified of not being able to see that movie.
If one of these goes, I still have 3 more. Yeah. I have a few VHS copies of stuff on DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And it was funny because some of those I had bought, I didn't even realize I still had any of my VHS collection because I thought I had sold it years ago on a yard sale. And I happened to find a box. Yeah. And some of my stuff was in there, like my original Dawn of the Dead VHS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, some of that stuff with Tank Girl and some weird movies.
I've never seen Tank Girl.
It's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, fans of the comic don't seem to like it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Again, a very quotable movie. It's cheesy. It's fun.
I've heard it's
There's Malcolm McDowell in it,
yeah.
So so I'm way behind. I still haven't seen Lights Out. I still haven't seen Don't Breathe. I still have not.
Don't Breathe is awesome, dude.
I have both. I have all of those on my my Vudu.
Don't Breathe is a movie you need to see. That is an intense.
I've heard
movie.
that looked fun, man. That looked like it was just intense and fun and just kind of.
No, that one is that's one of those movies that almost isn't fun to watch because you don't know. It's one of those movies you're scared of what they're gonna do to you. It's nothing mean in it. There's no
It's just intense. It's just intense.
It's just yeah, dude, that movie is insane. That was a crazy one.
And I still haven't seen Splice yet, even though I don't think it's really a horror movie. But
Splice was.
I like the M. Night Shyamalan, and that's a tie-in to Unbreakable, and they're making a new Unbreakable movie called Mr. Glass.
Are they really?
And the dude that's in Splice in. Split.
Oh, Split. That's what. Okay, Split. Yeah,
not Splice. I like Splice. I do have that.
Splice is the Adrian Brody one, right?
Yes, and I'm sure this will make some people sad. I am not an Adrian Brody fan by any means. I liked him in Predators. That was about it.
He was okay.
But I like Splice, but Split with the guy having the whatever personality.
Was that good?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I haven't.
But I just know that was, I found out after, that's a tie-in to Unbreakable, which is one of my favorite M. Night movies.
I heard that.
So, they're making a new movie with the guy from that and Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson are reprising their roles from Unbreakable, and they're all going to be in the movie together. It's called Mr. Glass.
That's crazy.
Because that was Samuel L. Jackson's.
Have you heard?
In Unbreakable's Mr. Glass.
That's one of a lot of my friends that hate on M. Night Shyamalan have never seen Unbreakable, and I tell them all the time
that is the least M. Night Shyamalan movie of his movies.
I know, but that movie's awesome.
Oh, it is. It's amazing.
So cool.
It's amazing.
Such a weird view on
the superheroes. Oh yes, and, exactly.
Yeah, it's such a weird point of view. It's awesome.
The thing is, it humanizes the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really do feel bad for him, mm-hmm. Just the whole thing going through it. And so, sorry if we spoiled that for anybody that hasn't seen Unbreakable, but we didn't really give it a lot away. But yeah,
What I was gonna say, you've seen The Witch.
Yes.
What do you think of The Witch?
That was awesome, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I thought it was a really cool movie. I had a hard time understanding half the dialogue because it was Old English.
Yeah, Old English.
But I liked the premise, and the movie went by quick. And on a side note, the short film that's being adapted from my story Chum, which
I want to talk about.
Having a little bit of a hold up right now, but it's still getting done. It's just the effects to do the effects properly is taking a little longer than expected. So it's probably not going to get shot until spring.
Yeah.
But the guy Ron Cody that's playing Freddie Ricker in that movie was in The Witch.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was he?
I can't remember the character, but he was in it. He's credited in it
That's
in the credits on IMDb. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, he's playing Freddie Ricker.
That's sick.
The main character in the short there.
What I was gonna say, and I'll get back to that because I want to talk about that. But the guy who I don't remember his name, and I know I'm supposed to be like a film scholar coming on here, but whatever. The guy that made The Witch, the director, is the same guy that's heading up the Nosferatu remake. Which,
nice.
If he brings that like creepiness and that like earthy natureness to Nosferatu, that movie's gonna be terrifying.
I have never seen Nosferatu.
Dude, that movie, it's hard to watch because it's a silent movie and it's very long.
But didn't they do a version with like Typo Negative or somebody did a soundtrack to it?
I don't know.
Or was that
probably
Philip Glass or
Philip Glass did the Dracula.
Soundtrack. Right. Okay. I think
but
we might have talked about that before.
I tell you what, if you watch Nosferatu and played Scott Walker's Bish Bosh, that'll be a horror experience on your own.
I have to watch it sometime just because that's like the first horror movie, pretty much.
Yeah,
you know?
It's crazy. But just the design of the vampire in general is so scary.
Oh, it's so iconic. I've never seen it, but I know that iconic photo of him even though you can't see me, I'm doing the pose with a shadow in the background.
And that's my point. Can you imagine like that? Those visuals with the direction of like The Witch, like
that dark aesthetic. Like, yeah.
Horrible.
Because that was the thing about The Witch. The Witch is such a just broodingly dark movie.
So yeah,
it's not scary. It's not even unsettling. But there is something about that movie
that's depression in that movie, and like it's That's not a movie
I enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was going to think of it because I've heard good things, but then it started out and it's the old English, and I'm like, the whole movie's like this. I'm like, oh boy.
I am not going to make it.
Not going to make it. And then the more I watched it, I just kept getting sucked into what was going on and just
It's such a visually cool movie too that like
I love the color palette. I love the color palette of it. It's just those earthy dark tones and just I love movies that utilize that type of.
Well, that's
I don't like bright horror movies. I don't. No. I'm not into them. Like even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a very like dark, like color palette tone movie for the most part. Everything is very worn down and everything is very like dirty looking, and it's just And that's New England in a nutshell. Everything is worn down and dirty looking.
Yeah,
because the weather is so screwed up here. Yeah. Yeah, so what were you gonna ask me about my boat?
Oh, I was just gonna say I work with a guy that's friends with Shane.
Yeah.
That's directing that.
Yep.
That your story chum, and we were talking about it the other day, and just I don't know, it just reminded me that I was excited for that. That's really cool.
I'm excited too. He sent me some pictures of some of the stuff they've been working on, and. What the problem come down to is in order to do a life cast of Ron's head, he has to shave his beard. Well, his beard is a very integral part of the story, so we can't do the shooting until he can grow his beard back.
I see.
And it's also getting to that time of year in Maine where it's just not going to be. We have a short window of time that this can be done in, so. He would never be able to grow his beard back in time to shoot.
So he's growing it.
No, he already has the beard, but in order to do the life cast of his head, they've got to shave his beard off. Because you can't put the liquid latex on hair because that will be not good.
Right. Yeah,
so,
obviously.
And then they'll have to build this beard on after on the prosthetics. But yeah. So that was one of the things, and it's just it would take too long to do it, and by the time things got squared around to go. And Shane is finishing up his feature-length movie Sleep Eaters right now, so he's been working really hard on getting that done. And it's just like it's still happening. It's just not going to happen as soon as we liked. But there's it's going to be part of an anthology film that's coming out too. So I can't say anything more than that because I can't give anything else away. But it's part of an anthology series that he's producing. That there's going to be some other stories involved with it, and that is going to be part of that. So probably next fall. Maybe you might see that out. So
next Halloween. Maybe.
I'm hoping around next Halloween would be awesome. So
that must be pretty cool though to see like something you wrote getting turned into like a little film.
Oh, I'm awesome. Very excited. I'm being a movie nerd.
Seriously.
I'm super excited. Like I always wanted. Like I wrote before I got it. For those of you who don't know, and I don't know how much I've ever really talked about it. I was a musician for years. Like I guess I could still say I kind of am. Well, I was a musician for years, and I played in bands and played all over New England, played in Canada, and I did that for about 8 or 9 years where I was playing out. But I mean, I played in bands for like 15 years, and so I was always into writing when I was younger, and I stopped. And then while I was playing in bands, I didn't write really, but I did write some screenplays and stuff, and that's actually where The Legend of North Lake come from. Originally, that was a screenplay that I wrote, and I just decided to make it into a story because I was never going to do anything with it. So I've written 4 or 5 screenplays and never done anything with them, and I actually edited a few of them in me and a few other people, maybe like just shooting a few of those next year just to kind of do something.
Yeah.
I started working on another screenplay that I had an idea for, and I don't know. I'm torn whether to make that into a book or to keep going on it as a screenplay.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to make like a real 80s style slasher film, but with a little bit of a modern twist to it. So
that's cool.
Like a modern camp slasher film, but with a modern twist to it. Yeah. So. I'm working on that, and like I said, I may end up turning that into a book instead because I have like the entire thing plotted out pretty much, and I don't know if I would be able to do it budget wise. I'm still tossing it around, but I have a couple of shorts that I wrote that would be pretty easy to film, and they're pretty, don't need a big cast to do them, and I know some people that act and stuff, and. So I may give that a shot next summer and do a couple little shorts, just for the hell of it, just to do something and just put them up on YouTube or whatever, So I'm not a filmmaker by any means. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing. So, but it would be fun.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's awesome though. That I'm excited to see it because I think a lot of your ideas would translate well.
I've always been told the way I write is a very I'm not overly wordy in the way I write. I'm pretty straight to the point, which I think translates well into that.
Yeah,
it's easy to translate into a film.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Stephen King, which is I think that's why so many people have such a hard time adapting his books. So wordy and detailed. And a lot of writers bore the shit out of me when they're wordy and detailed. Not him. Him and Clive Barker, I can read. And they're so descriptive and so wordy, but they just suck you in with the way they write. They find that good balance. But, hey, man, we are hitting almost an hour and 20-something minutes here. So
well, that flew by.
That flies by quick, man. For doing an episode with absolutely no subject matter in mind, this went by really quick.
Yeah.
But before we go, I would like to thank my sponsors, the Maine Cannababes. Their new calendar is up for 2018, and I believe you can still pre-order that till November. They have all kinds of new merch. You can get coffee cups, t-shirts, thongs, purses, tinctures, all kinds of different things. And so go to their website, www.mainecannababes.com. Check out their shop, order a calendar because all their money goes to charitable causes, and they're doing some awesome things, and who doesn't like to look at hot girls? So, so there's all that stuff anyway. But if you order something, when you place an order, there's a thing that says note to seller. and just type in you heard about the Maine Cannababes on Average Joe's Drive-In, and just type in the code word Average Joe's Drive-In, and they will give you a chance to win an autographed picture of your favorite Maine Cannababe. So, Zach, thank you very much, brother, for coming on. Had a good time.
Thank you.
And
I'm glad to be the first repeat. I hope
the first repeat.
Last.
Maybe you could be the first three-peat.
Wow.
So.
Let's make it happen. Yeah,
we'll make it happen, man. We can talk about horror anytime, man. It's fun. It goes by quick.
We could go all day with this stuff.
So, you have been listening to Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and I will see you sexy animals on the flip side.